God. Go! Easy.
Christ!
Easy.
Watch out with that horse.
Nice and slow.
I know that times are hard, and none of us have much to spare. But look around! Crime of all kinds is surging in the city, with dubious characters moving in, charlatans, sellers of worthless tat who charge dearly, crooks, one and all. The tax will allow the city authorities to strengthen our defenses and protect you and your neighbors from knaves and fraudsters. The tax will apply to all of those who make and sell their wares within the city's precincts.
Useful, blabbermouth.
To wit, blacksmiths, swordsmiths, armorers, cobblers, tailors, tanners, saddlers, potters, herbalists, goldsmiths, dyers, coopers, brewers, and vintners. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. In the name of Andreas Plebel,
Jesus
bailiff of
Christ be
Kuttenberg.
praised.
Aye. What did I do to you?
Christ.
Who are you off to see?
There are still holes in the walls. That's true. But what good are fortifications you can't defend?
I'll tell you. No fucking good at all.
See?
I didn't say I wouldn't contribute, but I'm not giving them a single groschen until I see cupstones, lime, scaffolding, and 20 men working their asses off.
What a lovely sight.
Are you going to the market, Tom?
Aye, aye.
I bought a lovely yew bow the other day for a great price.
What good's a bow to you, for God's sake? What a waste of money.
Didn't you hear that the king himself announced that everyone should have a good bow on hand?
I'd be happy to join you, if I might have the honor of knowing who I'm sitting with.
Two fools who maybe can't see past the tip of their nose.
Well, I was looking for some merry company, but it's like a mortuary here.
Aye, well, we're not going to find Baldurs today anyway. He could be miles away by now.
Well, if Baldur's a puppy, he should be able to pick up his own scent and return, shouldn't he?
He ain't no puppy. God, I've grown so fond of the little fella's adorable waddle.
What in God's name? You've lost an infant.
Are you barking mad? Jesus. It's not a child that's gone missing. But our chief, Mikolash, will still beat the shit out of us for losing his precious pet.
So, friends, precisely what have you lost, and where did it waddle off to?
It was a bear. Well, a bear cub. Damn it all. He was so sweet. Only 2 years old. You can still tame them at that age. We're done for when Master Mikolash finds out.
What's that you say? A bear cub? Who on earth are you two?
Skilled trappers. We hunt game for our esteemed masters. And Baldik's mother was one hell of a ferocious beast.
And what does your Mikolash have to do with all this?
It was him what killed the mother bear. A finer beast there never was. But she had this cub with her, so he got it into his head we should go and bring it to him. And now the cub's lost, and we've had it.
Ah, the pair of you are sitting here like two sacks of misery. How about a shooting contest? Take your mind off things.
Well, it'd be your loss, because neither Shabesta here nor me is exactly novice archers. What's it to be? Longbow or crossbow?
Bow, I reckon.
All right, I'll get everything ready and find some fellas. But first, you need something to shoot from. Come back when you're ready. Arrows I can give you, but I want to see you carrying a bow. Got it?
I'd like to compete at archery.
What's it to be? Longbow or crossbow?
Maybe longbow?
All right. What do you feel up to? Because it's not going to be free.
Hang on. I'll see how much I have. Yeah, here it is. So, can we start?
Wait a while until I get the other archers. Meanwhile, you can get ready and wait for the signal. Well... And loose!
That's how it's done. Another 5 points. Another 5 points. The black again. I'm not even trying. Another 5 points.
What the... Why is he shooting?
I've been hit!
You never saw that coming. Let's see what you're made of, you bastard. I'll rip you...
You can't take me!
I'm all you... Lovely day, isn't it?
Same to you.
Innkeeper, a beer!
Sir Vaculin, you've had an exciting life. Tell me some stories.
Bien sûr. Your interest is gratifying and quite understandable.
Where does the name Brabant come from?
That is simple. My compatriots call me that because I am originally from Brabant province. And, the name stuck. One day, I shall tell you about my place of birth, but I am sure you will long to hear about the conquest of Arezzo, yes? Or would you rather hear how I saved the King of France from certain death?
How did you save the King of France?
With Providence as my guide, mon ami. I came to the court from the field of battle to bring news of our victory, because, and remember this, the bearer of good news is always rewarded and cherished. But the king was in a bad mood and did not wish to be disturbed. Maybe I thought the news of our victory will dispel his ill humor.
How could you tell him if he didn't want to be disturbed?
Ha! I climbed up to his balcony and into his chambers to surprise him with the joyful tidings. And lo and behold, the king was writhing and gasping on the floor, overcome by one of his fits. Wasting not a moment, I dashed over to him and unblocked his throat, thus saving his life. In return, the king bestowed on me the title of Échanson, or cupbearer, and other generous gifts. And I then spent a while in his service at court. Unfortunately, though, even the king's favor does not last forever, and minor mistakes can come to overshadow good deeds.
Arezzo sounds interesting.
And so it was. That is where I earned my knighthood from the great Enguerrand de Concy himself, the commander of our Naples campaign. Enguerrand arranged his forces for battle, and I was put in charge of one of the cavalry units. Out of nowhere, the enemy appeared on our unprotected flank, and Enguerrand set me to hold them back so our main force could regroup. But I saw a gap in the enemy's main phalanx. I sounded the charge and sped forwards.
Wasn't that rather risky?
Un chevalier français fears nothing.
I reckon King Sigismund would think otherwise after Constantinople.
That was completely different. Alors, I caught them by surprise. I hacked my way to their standard and broke through all the way to the enemy's reservoirs. My attack sowed confusions in the enemy's ranks that encouraged the overlords who raced to join me, scattering everything in their path. And that is how we won the famous victory at Arezzo. Seeing that the force that was supposed to protect them had been routed. The city then surrendered to us. No doubt you had no inkling at Maleshov what a knight you had the honor to meet. And of course my feats on the field of battle.
A bold maneuver.
Quite right. Courage is my middle name. Just as Monsieur Chapon says, Audantes Fortuna Juva. That day I was the bravest of them all and won the day.
So you disobeyed your commander and left your flank exposed. Your attack could have ended in a total fiasco. You were lucky the others came to your assistance and your entire force didn't collapse.
I hear envy speaking, but you are still wet behind the ears. So, I can forgive you. In short, I saw an opportunity and took it. Moments like that can decide entire wars.
What did your commander have to say?
He made me a knight and sent me to the royal court to inform the sovereign of our triumph.
I reckon he wanted to get you out of his hair.
Do not talk nonsense.
Tell me about Brabant province. Is it far from here?
Quite far. From Bohemia, you would go to Bamberg and then follow the river Main until it joins the Rhone. Then you sail down the Rhone until it reaches the sea. And there, between the river and La Flandre, you will find Brabant, with its wealthy cities. Anvers, Bruxelles, Louvain, and many others. But those three cities are the equal of Paris, Rome, or your Prague. Both the Dukes of Burgundy and the Imperial Princes would like to annex our land to theirs, because its flourishing trade has made it rich. But like everywhere else, you can only come into wealth by birth or by enterprise, which is how I did it.
How did you end up here?
Leaving the court with a modest sum, I launched to visit faraway lands. I traveled a lot, spending time in various countries, and having many great adventures. When I learned that l'Empereur Charles, that great friend of France, had built the magnificent city of Prague in Bohème, I had to see it.
So people in foreign countries speak highly of Prague?
Bien sûr! It was abroad that I heard of King Wenceslas' silver city and its reputed vast wealth. I bought the abandoned Miskowitz estates and shares in the Kuttenberg mines. And for a time I settled here to provide for myself and wait for King Wenceslas, whom I wished to serve. But even here fate did not let me be. When Sigismund brought his army to the city, I appointed myself to lead its defense. For how better to make King Wenceslas aware of me than by saving his beloved city? Victory was assured, but the burghers had other ideas. The city was handed over to the enemy, and I with it, stripped of my possessions. I languished in captivity, until fate again stepped in by sending you to Malishov.
Sir Vaclin, I'm surprised how well you speak our language. Where did you learn it?
Where do you think? Here, of course. Ce n'était même pas difficile. Perhaps I have already mentioned that I am guided by Providence. She endowed me with many talents, mastery of language among them. I can communicate almost everywhere in the world, and learn every new tongue in a trice. I now speak French, German, Italian, Latin, Hungarian, and Czech. Some English, though that is only a necessary evil.
Luckery and Cargouche. Sounds like a pair of jesters.
En aucun cas. Jacques le Gris and Jean de Carouge. There's two great knights were in a legal dispute over an estate. But above all, when de Carouge was on a campaign, Le Gris fornicated with his wife. She claimed that he had raped her, while he said he had seduced him. And because everyone swore to their own truth on the Bible, the matter had to be settled by combat. First, they jousted. Then they fought on foot with sword and axe. Le Gris thought victory was in his grasp, but de Carouge suddenly pounced on him, wrested him to the ground, and beat him so terribly that he knocked off his helmet and cuirass. Even so, Le Gris refused to admit his guilt, and de Carouge drove a dagger through his neck. And if you promise not to tell, I will let you into a secret about that dagger.
Tell me the secret. I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Bien. As I say, de Carouge killed Le Gris with a dagger. And I found that dagger in the mud after the duel. A blessed blade, an instrument of divine justice. The dagger that ended the last trial by combat France ever witnessed. An item of great value. So, I had several copies made and sold them to rich French noblemen. That is how I first came into wealth. And I used the coin to buy the horse and armor I needed to set off in pursuit of glory in battle.
That's fraud.
You need to be more enterprising, mon ami. Where you see fraud, I saw an opportunity. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw, and I have seen a lot. Believe me, half of France came to watch, including the king himself, who then banned trial by combat in France forever. I later told the story to anyone who was interested. One of my listeners, a certain Froissart, wrote my icon down and became famous. I could have written it myself, of course, but I am happy to help others find success.
What happened at court that led to you being out of favor?
Well, perhaps I shall tell you some other time. Would you not rather hear about the glorious duel between Le Gris and Carouge?
What other feats have you performed in battle?
Oh, many, mon ami. For one battle does not make a warrior. It would take a week to recount them all, so I will just tell you about my second greatest feat. On the Italian field, we faced John Hawkwood, a ruthless Englishman and a fearsome warrior. Surrounded, we were at his mercy. Night fell, and we knew he would attack at dawn, and that would be it. But just then, Providence put an idea in my mind.
You went to parley?
Mais non! You cannot reason with les Anglais. Unobserved, I mounted my horse and set off to find help. And La Dame Chance was exceedingly kind to me that day. As I rode away, by chance, I stepped it off of our horses. Thinking we were trying to break through, les Anglais went to head them off. But while the English were occupied with Mycelie, our units managed to flee. I saved many men from certain death that night, and many lords from the disgrace of capture. Needless to say, I was generously rewarded for my valor.
That is indeed incredible. But you were just trying to flee, weren't you?
I wanted to bring reinforcements, but as I say, I merely follow Providence, and she guides my steps, from triumph to triumph, wherever I go. Stick close to me, Henri, and Providence will favor you too.
Tell me what happened at court that caused you to lose favor.
Ah, a major setback and a gross injustice, mon ami. It is an unhappy memory, because it was the first time that La Dame Chance abandoned me.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. We can all learn from our failures. And I bet even your failures make for great stories.
Oui, that is certainly true. Very well then. I suffered a combination of misfortunes all at once. But bad luck in business and on a hunt were the worst of all.
You were in business?
Of course. I come from Brabant province, home to the greatest entrepreneur of all. My birthplace gave me an unrivaled nose for corn and the reputation of a financial expert. I was nicknamed the Seer of Louvain, and also the End of Midas. That is, until I persuaded an important nobleman to invest a large sum in maritime trade with Africa. All the ships he bought sank in a tempest. He had to sell off part of his estates to pay off his creditors. Of course, he wrongly blamed me for everything, but my advice was sound. I told him as much. But some people never admit their mistakes.
A sea voyage from France to Africa? You must have known that was a massive risk.
A risk, perhaps. But think of the fortune to be made. A man must think big if he wants to achieve greatness, no?
Big ideas often lead to big trouble. Storms, pirates, sea monsters, uncharted waters. It was a disaster waiting to happen, Baron. You should have tried the Baltic trade route.
You are right. That would have been safer. But that is under Hanseatic control and there is too much competition. Africa, mon ami, that is just imagine sailing further and trading directly with African kings. Remember this, because one day I will be proven right.
Thanks for sharing your stories with me, Sir Backlin.
Good day to you.
Greetings to you two. I'll be right with
Innkeeper,
you.
a beer!
Oh well. Now what's this?
I heard you fought in the Battle of Kosovo. Is that true?
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, I'd hate to fall for one of your jokes. And I know you talk a lot when you're drunk.
Well, true enough. And I'm drunk a lot. That's true too. But as St. Killian is my witness, it's true I was on the field of Kosovo, and I fought there. And I was quite sober.
So how did it happen? Tell me. I don't think I can quite imagine such a massive battle. How many soldiers were there?
Countless, lad. I'd never seen so many take the field. At least 10,000 men on our side. And Sultan Murad must have had at least twice as many with him.
So how did the battle go?
Lord forgive me, but it went to shit.
Could you be more specific?
Specific? Well, I only know what people said after the battle. When you're in the midst of it, you don't see what's happening around you.
Which was?
Oh, it's hard to describe. Attacks are followed by retreats, and between that, only fatigue and dust.
So what happened?
When the battle began, the Serbian cavalry crushed the Turkish left flank. It looked good for us, but alas, that was just the beginning. Soon, we got ours too. We fought valiantly, but they pushed us back, and in the meantime, they hit our center. The Sultan's Janissaries attacked us there. Damn devils, and raised all hell. Rivers of blood soaked the ground.
How could you survive something like that?
You can't give up, and death isn't an option. But then a rumor spread that Prince Lazar had fallen, and everything began to crumble. But he was a tough old warrior of the Nemanjic royal blood. He wouldn't give up just like that. With an arrow in his eye, he climbed his horse and rode straight for the Sultan. That's how he saved us. The battle then lasted until evening. But no one had the strength to force the enemy to retreat.
And where did you fight?
In the saddle. I'm a nobleman, after all. But I lost 3 horses under me. So in the end, I also fought on foot. Most of us mercenaries were on the left flank, under the command of Vlatko Vukovic. But he soon got wounded, and the men began to flee. I mean, if it wasn't for Nicholas Gabriel, we wouldn't be talking here today.
And who was that?
The commander of our company. A born warrior, and a good friend. In fact, Zizka reminds me of him a bit sometimes. In any case, the fact that Gabriel had taken a command at that point meant our flank did not buckle, and the Ottoman rabble did not cut us to pieces as we fled.
So who won in the end?
The battle lasted all day, and in the end no one knew who had won, because both sides left the field. Only later did we find out. Prince Lazar had fallen there alongside all his Serbian nobility. Still later came the news that Lazar had been captured and executed by the Turks the day after the battle.
They executed a prince?
Aye. They beheaded him, because someone had slit their sultan's throat like a piglet.
So you didn't win?
It's hard to say. We held our own against the odds and survived. Only without their prince, it was just a matter of time before Serbia fell into the new Ottoman Sultan's lap. Fortunately, I didn't stick around to see it. All the same, even as I'm telling it, it strikes me what an adventure it was. I suppose time heals all kinds of shit. In the end, you forget the bad things. And yet, I can only thank God that Nicholas Gabriel was there.
Your captain?
Aye, him. We actually became friends of sorts. He even taught me one of his sword tricks.
He did?
Aye, really. I could even show you sometime. A memory of the good man who saved my arse on that day.
God be with you, neighbor.
Would you show me the swordsmanship technique Commander Nicholas taught you back in Kosovo?
Why not? I'd be happy to show it to you. But whether you understand it is up to you. Oh, at any rate, you need to be quick and thorough. Because for once, you aren't attacking the head directly, but rather the opponent's sword. When you knock it aside, you open up space for a deadly blow. Now come and try it a few times.
What will it be?
Can I ask you something?
Of course. What about?
So the whole inn belongs to you?
Aye. This entire humble abode belongs to me. From the cellar to the shingles.
It must have cost a pile of coin, eh?
Well, I worked my arse off for it.
But not honestly, I reckon, eh?
I honestly work my arse off, but you know how it is. Sometimes you have to make your own luck.
What's new around here, innkeeper?
Well, nothing much. If there was something, I'd tell you. What can I do for you?
I've come for my dog.
About time. He's a hungry beast.
What do you have for sale?
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
You hungry beast.
I bring bad news from Kuttenberg. Eric's soldiers and the town rabble have torched the Jewish quarter. Fortunately, we saved most of the people. But I doubt they can form an alliance with us now.
Fuck. Where are they now?
Samuel and the rabbi took those who survived to Colleen.
Shit. We have to find Dry Devil and Capon and decide what to do next.
Well, Samuel said he wants to be around for that, and we should wait for him.
I see. But if he's gone to Colin, he won't be back till tomorrow. Oh well, at least we'll have time to get everything ready.
All right. I'll come tomorrow then.
You want another?
I'd like to learn from a master.
You got that wine for me?
All right. Here you go.
Ready. What is it you want, then?
I need to improve my sword biting skills.
Then sword fight, damn it! But the main thing is not to soil your breeze, no matter who you're up against.
All right then. I'll show you a few devilish tricks.
Here you go. Take it. You silly mutt.
God bless you, sir.
What can I do for you, sir?
Show me your wares.
I've been...
I'm glad you found what you
since
needed,
morning.
sir. I haven't even eaten yet.
What would you like?
Show me your wares.
Excellent. You made a fine purchase, good sir. You have a kind master, eh, mutt?
my humble respects.
With fresh herbs, it would have turned out better.
What does that mutt want over here? Get out of here, mutt! No one wants to hear your barking. It had better sod off.
Henry, you have no idea how glad I am to see you alive and all in one piece. I was really worried about you. I prayed to Our Lady the Protector to watch over you in Kuttenberg. It's good she heard my pleas.
Thanks for putting in a good word. It definitely came in handy, because it wasn't nice at all. Lots of violence and death, countless foes. We could have easily kicked the bucket any moment.
God damn! What happened there?
It didn't look so bad at the start. We actually arrived in time and urged everyone to flee. But some of Eric's cutthroats got inside the tavern and murdered everyone there. Before we'd finished with them, a great mob gathered outside and struck against the gate. And it fell.
Oh, fuck! That sounds like a right massacre. God damn it. I should have gone there too. I could have been some use at least.
I'm always glad to fight by your side. But you wouldn't have changed anything there. There were too many of them. And when the whole street was thronged, there was no stopping it. All we could do was try to hold back Eric's people as long as possible, so the locals could flee to the synagogue. See, there's a hidden tunnel inside it, leading out of the city.
Fucking tunnels! Ugh. But thank Christ for them. What about Liechtenstein?
He's fine. And he managed to get those mysterious documents of his out. He left with the survivors for Colleen.
Praise God. He's from an old and glorious house. It'd be a dreadful pity if he got left behind. The main thing is you got out. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to thank you properly for coming to Malashov for me.
No need to thank me.
I beg to disagree, my brave and faithful companion. First and foremost, be it known that if you should ever similarly find yourself in captivity, I swear before our Lord Jesus Christ that I shall come for you as you came for me. And secondly, I have something here for you. A truly knightly reward for your knightly deed. A hunting bow that has no equal in the province. I hope it'll brighten your thoughts after all those horrors. It can fell the mightiest buck deer and enchant many a doe. And besides, it has attached to it an enlightening history.
I'm honoured. Thank you, friend. Just a moment. This bow looks familiar. Isn't it the same one you gave me in Ratai?
Certainly not. This one's much better, believe me. When I found out that Jobst would gladly leave me locked up, it got my blood up. So, to pay him back, I relieved him of the bow in Raborsch, and it was immediately clear to me that that bow should go to none other than you.
That is certainly just, I'd say.
I knew we'd see eye to eye. It'd be great to try that bow out right away. We could ride out together on the hunt. Wine, bacon, wine, the deep woods, a quiver full of arrows, wine, shoot some deer and celebrate with wine, like we used to do back home.
We only went hunting together once.
But it was memorable. Don't tell me you wouldn't like to do it again. But first duty, then some fun, eh? You'd better be going.
How'd you like Devil's Den?
Well, it's better than the Malashov prison, but not much.
Aren't the beds soft enough for his lordship?
I'm more bothered by how small the place is. You feel like the walls are closing in on you. But at least I can go for rides around the area.
Where'd you go for those rides?
Well, not very far, just from... Oh, damn. What's the place called? Horshan? Aye. From Horshan to Bohunyvitz and back. Why go to the ends of the earth when there's so much to see here? I found a nice hunter's camp in the forest beyond Bohunyvitz. It's not exactly close, but it's quiet at least.
Oh, Christ almighty. You haven't started poaching again, have you?
You could say that. This girl from Bohunyvitz took me for a lovely... ride.
Oh, that's enough. Spare me the details. What do you make of this Brabant fellow?
He's unquestionably a remarkable knight, that Vakalin. He rambles on a lot, though. My head nearly burst listening to him sometimes. Although it was better than being stuck there alone. Otherwise, he seems to me like a bold and worldly gentleman, if a little obsessed with wealth.
I honestly can't stand him. He's as full of tales as an old fishwife, and half of them sound very unlikely indeed.
No one's perfect. As for his constant chatter, you have to learn how to shut him up, and ideally not get locked up in one room with him. On the other hand, when Sigismund invaded, he could have easily just stepped aside and kept his nose out of it, and he'd still be sitting pretty in Miskovitz. Instead, he did the opposite, and defended the town. Give him a chance to prove himself. You'll see for yourself.
I'll believe it when I see it. What happened when von Bergov hauled you off after the Nabokov battle?
It was a dreadful journey. Jesus, don't even remind me. It was a bit better in Malashov. Apart from being locked up, of course.
Did anything happen along the way?
No, but it took ages to get to Malashov. 4 or 5 days in that god-awful cart. I was travelling with von Owlet's minions. They hauled me in one of the wagons. They treated my wounds a bit, but I was still in a really bad way. After that battle and all.
What did they do with you in Malashov?
Nothing much, actually. They took care of my wounds, and then stuck me in a room with Brabant. But they treated me decently, as befits a noble. Von Bergov came asking questions a couple of times, but that was about it. Only I almost went mad from being cramped in that damned room. It's a good thing you got me out of there.
What was the problem with the room?
That I couldn't get out of there. You saw yourself when you came for me, didn't you? It's just that since Nabokov, when they shot the tower right down on my head and I was stuck there. Well, since then, I don't feel well in cramped spaces. Actually, I never did. I always preferred to be outdoors. But since Nabokov, it's worse than ever. I had a feeling the roof would fall on my head again and I'd be buried alive.
They didn't let you out at all? But you were in that room for ages.
No. They let us walk around the fortress a bit. We even went out for a ride twice, but they watched us like hawks. Not a chance of escape. But most of the time we were in that room. Like I say, I'm really glad you got me out of that hole.
What did von Bergov want from you?
Just the usual courtesies. The captivity of nobles has to observe certain formalities, you know? It's not like they could just throw you in some hole. They behaved fairly respectfully, but of course he was fishing for information. About Radzig and Hanush and especially Jobst. What they're planning, how many men they have on the field, who else they're negotiating with and that.
And what did you tell him?
Nothing that he didn't already know. I played as dumb as the village idiot. I only told him they sent us with that message and discussed the rest when we were gone.
And did he swallow it?
I think he suspected I was bluffing a bit, and then he tried to loosen my tongue by letting me go hungry for a while. But he soon gave up when he saw he was getting nothing more from me.
My word. Nice work keeping him at bay. I understand. It's a bit awkward for you that the nobility lives in castles.
That's a fact. Once I get my hands on my estates, I'll build a new castle that only has huge rooms and lots of spacious courtyards. And above all, no secret passages.
Great. I'm really looking forward to this new castle of yours.
You can be the castellan or something. Don't worry, I won't forget you. I'll even have a forge built so you feel right at home.
But the main thing is, you're alive and kicking. And back with us.
Indeed. Well, what do you think? Reckon you could handle a nobleman?
And do you have something to pay me with, noble sir? Flattery won't fill my belly.
Don't make me beg. If you want, I'll take you to a glade somewhere and teach you how to shoot a bow. And then, maybe...
Still trying, eh? You're here almost every day.
This is so boring. It's enough to make a fellow cry.
Can we start the meeting? We don't have much time.
I know, but Samuel isn't here yet. We have to be patient.
Greetings. Do you need something?
Show me your wares.
man of Skalitz.
Good morning. All right.
Grand, my friend. Thanks for asking.
Good to see you.
Search.